Hi everyone, my name is Lynette Davis, the chief blogger over at summermoon.com. I am so excited to have you here with me as I am launching for the second time this year my annual blog series, Be the Change. Um, and basically, I think the name pretty much speaks for itself. So this is the first year that I'm actually getting out from behind my computer screen and actually going into the trenches, so to speak, the virtual trenches, and interviewing some people who are just doing some amazing things. So I'm so excited. I'm going to let these ladies introduce themselves. But who I have with me today are the women behind the nonprofit organization called ChopArt. So, Malika, I'm going to go ahead and start with you as the founder, and I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce everybody else here on this group hangout.
Sure. So my name is Malika Whitley. I'm the founder and CEO of ChopArt, which is an arts nonprofit for homeless youth. We also have Joel Thompson, who is our board chair, and Yanni, who is the field supervisor for our India program.
Awesome, awesome. Um, so you threw me off a bit because I thought the girls were going to go around and introduce themselves, but that
Oh,
worked
they can
too.
definitely introduce themselves. I just told a little snippet, but if they would like to introduce themselves and talk for a little bit more about their background, I would love that.
Awesome. Please do, ladies.
Hello everyone. My name is Jewel Thompson. As Malika mentioned, I am the board chair for her nonprofit organization, ChopArt. I've been working with ChopArt now for about 2 years. My background is in nonprofit. I just recently stint with a nonprofit organization called Gideon's Promise, working as their program manager, and have gone on to start my own foundation called Take Care. And I'm also the founder of the Professional Do-Gooder. I've done a lot of things in the Atlanta community, and so I'm very passionate about work that speaks to being the change. So I'm excited to be on this call, and thank you, for Lynette, for having us.
Awesome.
All right, and my name is Yanni. I'm the founder of the Peace Peoples Movement, which is all about the arts, music, community service, community building, and bringing people together. I've traveled overseas quite a bit as an ambassador for different organizations and programs, in particular one called the Atlantic Bridge, where I've been to Holland and Finland and Germany and some other places as an artist activist. And so I've known Malika for some years now, and was looking for an opportunity to travel overseas again, and was asked to be field supervisor, and gladly accepted the opportunity and spent close to a month working with close to 800 homeless young men in India. So yeah, I'm just all about peace, all about love, all about creativity and educating our young ones. And so it was truly a privilege and honor to be a part of Chop Arts program.
Awesome. Thank you for introducing yourself, ladies. So I don't want to hold anybody too long, so I'm going to jump right in it. So speaking of be the change, I know we've all heard that it's thrown around kind of like a cliche, but to me it symbolizes so much more. So for anybody who's new to that phrase or really wants to hear some substance to it, what does be the change mean to you?
Well, I think that everyone can be the change. I think that it means to give more to the world than what you're taking each day, and to spread love and peace and positivity. And I think if everyone, subscribes to that creed, then we can all be the change each day and continue to build ourselves and our communities.
Amazing. So, did anybody else have anything to add to that, or did Malika pretty much summarize it?
I think Malika did a great job, but I like to add as well, when it comes to being the change, a lot of times people don't realize that you can create impact in small ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be this great grand gesture. Everyone thinks that I have to do this or I have to be the face of that. Like Malika was saying, simply by seeing an issue, and even if you start off as a volunteer, even if you're helping in a small way where you see a nonprofit that may be struggling or needs some sort of assistance, if you're there just filing papers, that's you being the change in that particular system, ensuring that something gets done the right way. And if you have the resources to do so, you're able to use your talents, your creativity to go forward and make a change in this world. Like, it doesn't have to be something where you're the founder, you're the this. Everyone looks at titles, but it takes a simple gesture of kindness to really make a great impact.
Indeed.
Absolutely, Jewel. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and I just think being the change means waking up every day and choosing to be love, and function out of love, however that looks for you with everyone you interact with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, to me, love means, even since we're talking simple gestures, having this Google Hangout and just letting people know that people are here. We are here. We're not alone. And we are coming together as a collective to create something, anything to make something better.
Indeed.
Great.
Okay. So you all kind of went over it and we kind of listed chop art. So let's really get into the nitty gritty. Can you tell me about the work of your organization? What kind of programs do you run?
All right, well, ChopArt offers a minimum of 6 weeks of art programming within the shelters of Atlanta and in summer camp format in Hyderabad, India. And our program is designed specifically for middle and high school age youth who are experiencing homeless situations, and also designed to build community, to provide entrepreneurial opportunities for the youth, and also combat some of the negative effects that youth homelessness has, such as drug abuse, sex trafficking, and suicide. This year, we are working with the convergence of digital media and mixed media on Canvas to help to allow the kids to express themselves, as well as to present ideas to the community in the way that they feel comfortable, in the way that they want to be heard and seen in the eye of society. This year we were really blessed to continue our India program and able to run 2 summer camps in partnership with Carmen Education Services. And Yanni went to supervise that program and to help to inspire the kids. So I'll actually let her talk more about that program and her experience there.
Awesome.
Yeah, being in India was an awesome and amazing experience. I think more than anything, the work with the boys and getting to know the boys and seeing how creative they could actually be was an amazing experience. There were times where the students, we give them paint, we give them supplies, we give them materials, and they would be so dedicated and committed to the work that they wouldn't want to leave the classroom. And so the allotted time was about 2.5 hours. There were times where it was 3 hours, 3 hours, 15 minutes, 3 hours, 20 minutes. And I literally had to kick the boys out of the classroom because it was time to eat. I think I kept posting the hashtag chop art works because it truly does. I mean, just the curriculum itself that I took over, which was the visual arts curriculum, was very accessible for the fellows that I work with. And so as they read through the curriculum, they were able to implement each lesson into the classrooms each day. And the boys truly enjoyed every part of it. Just being able to paint and learning how to sketch and learning how to draw, learning these different elements of the English language was an instrumental part, I believe, in the program. A lot of times, children aren't asked to be creative. I find that everywhere I go in the world, children aren't asked to be creative. So when you ask them to, they're kind of taken aback. But provided and given the curriculum, they were able to work through it, and I think it really transformed their lives. And some of them, they created these masterpieces. They've never been able to draw before. They've never been asked to paint before or sketch before, and they truly came up with some masterpieces. And so it was awesome to watch and witness.
Wow, that sounds like an amazing experience. I know so many people would love to go take their works abroad. And so being able to sit here and talk to someone who's actually done it, to me, is amazing. This is the wonderful thing about technology. You know, we can sit here and talk, and I get to hear about your experiences and feel like I lived it myself.
Hmm.
For some of those who, not to, like Jules said earlier, not to shut down any small act, because every act of love does matter. Um,
Exactly.
However, it is very cool to know that you've actually gone across and built those bridges between the organization located in Atlanta and connecting it to organizations over there in India. Um,
Yeah.
that's
And I
amazing.
think one of the beautiful elements about chop art is that they're not just doing the work here in Atlanta, but choosing to take the work internationally is a beautiful thing. I mean, our children, wherever they are in the world, truly need our help and need, us to push them in the right direction. And so, yeah, that's another beautiful element of chop art that I appreciate.
Awesome. I
Yeah.
am trying to unmute Malika because there was a lot of background noise and a lot of echo. So
Well,
Oh, okay.
while you're on, I'll say one more thing about Chop Art that I'm appreciative of is that Chop Art was Malika's vision, her baby from her travels abroad, her work with the IDEX Fellowship, her work in South Africa, and she came back with this idea of implementing this domestically and helping our communities that are struggling. And when she came to me with the idea, I was like, Malika, that's awesome. Like, I'll support you in any way. And what people don't realize is that we don't have a large budget. We barely have any money. We have a young working forward. All of us are under 30. All of us are recent college graduates, graduates, all of these different things. And these are young people making something happen. So kudos comes heavily to Malika and this vision, being able to reach out and connect with someone like Yanni, being able to take her vision and what she had upon her heart from the travels that she's done to create something like this. So it's a testament to the
Yeah.
fact of what we were saying in regards to being the change, is that when you see something and it's put upon your heart to do something about it, don't be afraid to go forward with your dreams. You just need a great team. You have to have a purposeful vision and know that you can get it done regardless. Because like I said, when it comes to nonprofit, and I've worked in nonprofit for a long time, it's all about the finances. And a lot of times people will forget that. But with us, we've been able to have a budget under $1,000 and have, programs scale out to India and a lot of times help multiple shelters here in Atlanta. And so I'm so proud to definitely be a part of Chop Art and show and be, a part of this call to show that this is something that's started with a small, purposeful vision that is continuing to grow, and it's all done by young people.
awesome, awesome. Malika, are you able to talk now? Nope. It,
Hmm.
let me
Oh, no.
Okay,
Yep.
I think I've worked it out.
Okay.
there we go.
It's
There we
back.
go. I'm like I'm like sitting here trying to cut out the static. I'm like, no, don't cut her out. Gotta love technology. So, you know what? I know I had a specific order, but Jules said something, and I'm going to kind of skip to another question because since we're talking about money, let's just get real with it, right? So, I'm, so here's the thing: we all wear our own capes or mask or not in different sectors. Some of us choose the for-profit lane. Some of us choose the not for-profit lane. I am stuttering like crazy, but I'm gonna roll with it. So, how can we combine our superpowers and create real impact in the world? And the reason why I wanted to go to that is because I feel that you could probably do a lot more with more than less than $1,000. So let's go there.
Mhm.
All right. I'll tap into that question. It's interesting because with the for-profit sector, they have all the, I guess, the nicks and crannies that the public sector doesn't have. So essentially with for-profit, you have the money, you have the people, you have the resources to get things done. And in my work with nonprofit, that's all we need to let our bleeding hearts do the work that we desire to do. But oftentimes, because of the stigma with nonprofits, it often ends up being, you know, a nonprofit founder or CEO shouldn't be getting paid six figures. This shouldn't be happening. So many stigmas become aligned with working in nonprofit because they assume that it's all about not having money but making impact. But in the for-profit world, it's all about the bottom line and generating revenue. But in the interim, the way that they, or you know, society puts a bandage on that is to say that for-profit entities can create corporate giving or social responsibility, in a sense, to remember the little guys, us nonprofiters, and help us out. And I think that that's been a great way, in a sense, even though it's slightly a bandage, it doesn't necessarily solve our funding streams and issues that nonprofits encounter daily, and all of us trying to tap into the same resources. But it does help with the smaller nonprofits, the mid-sized nonprofits, by partnering with larger corporations who do provide those resources, whether it be grants, whether it be volunteers to come out and work with a nonprofit, or whether it be just a combined marketing effort to help shine light onto a cause. For instance, like Macy's tying in with the AIDS Foundation and creating Red, that brought a lot of, I guess, people to understand what's going on with that particular nonprofit and what they're doing in the community to service those who are um, uh, HIV positive. So I say when it comes to that combination programs that corporations, for-profit corporations, whether they're large, small, mid-size, or sole proprietorships, if they find an organization that speaks to their heart, they can even go as far as be transitioning one of their streamlines to be something like a social entrepreneurship, where a portion of their proceeds is going back to service and benefit a particular nonprofit. Similar to an idea of someone starting up a for-profit business, you can definitely consider the social entrepreneurial route for something like a Tom's, where at the end of the day, you're making and creating shoes, but these shoes are going back to benefit children who don't have shoes. So if you're thinking on that line, you want to do good, and you also want to make sure that you're in the private sector per se, there are ways to go about it. And then for nonprofiters, we also have to make sure that we're reaching out to corporations and businesses that align with our.
Oh, we lost you.
Um,
I can't hear you,
well,
Jewel.
well, until we get Joe back, just to add on a little bit of what she's saying, uh, the bigger corporations who are very popular in giving back to the communities, one of the things that their employees can also do is join committees and boards of these organizations, and to really invest their time and resources into it. One of the ways that that's very valuable is it provides that organization with one enough leverage to apply for grants. So when those grantors are looking at the website and saying, who do you have backing you? Who do you have supporting you? And they can look at your board and say, okay, this person is of this organization, and they will have a better buy-in for this grant from this organization, so we're on board. So I think it's understanding the company that you're a part of, and providing that company back to the organization you support. And I think that makes a great difference in the way that we're able to operate.
Awesome, awesome. Let me just test Jewel. Can you speak so we can see if we can hear you? Do you guys hear? I still don't hear her.
No, I don't hear.
Okay. I'm almost like you might want to click out and come back in and see if that helps. So in the meantime, I'm going to keep on going. Hopefully, she'll be able to get back in. Um, so you you said something that oh, there she is.
Yay!
Okay. All right, we're back on track. So you said something to me that was very important. For those who are in a for-profit and everything, because I had never thought about, and my background actually is nonprofit originally. The fact that just having people on the boards and committees help build more credibility for grants. But here's the thing. See, my heart was already there since I came out of nonprofit world. So for me to go back and want to give back and everything, it's already embedded in me because I was already on the ground before I started my own company.
Mm.
But for somebody who is new to this and they are only living basically to get ahead for themselves and provide for the family, which is noble, um, but they're still feeling unfulfilled and they're still looking for something deeper, something more meaningful. Why should they care to give back? What does giving back really look like?
Hmm.
Well, Yanni, do you have? I'll let Yanni answer it first, and then I'll come in because Yanni has a whole movement about people giving back worldwide, and so I would really love to hear her answer to this.
Yeah, for me, I believe giving back is doing all that you can to make sure organizations and businesses and even people that you know and care about are taken care of, at least in the smallest of ways. I also helped to start a church called Rise Community Church here in Atlanta. And one thing we're big on is outreach and doing work in the community. And a lot of times giving back doesn't necessarily mean cutting that $1,000, $50,000, $100,000 check, but giving back means making sure that ChopArt has paint to send to India, making sure that the homeless families that I do work with are able to receive food when they need it. Simple things, making sure children have book bags to go back to school, making sure families have fresh fruit and vegetables to eat at the end of the day. A lot of times people think giving back, has to be these major, major acts, and it's not that. I believe that there are certain things systemically that aren't happening on a governmental level, and so it's up to us as the people to care for one another. In particular, one campaign that we did in these past years is called Peace People for Change, where literally we ask people to collect the change that they have in their homes and arbitrarily laying around for at least 3 months. And what ends up happening is people end up with hundreds of dollars, $40, $50, $60, just in change that they're able to give and make sure that someone's Christmas or someone's holiday or someone's Thanksgiving or someone's just day is better than the day before. And so I believe in small ways that we as a people can come together and give back. Giving back is easy and we can all do it.
Right. And to add on to that, I feel like in order to find your purpose and the value in giving back, you have to relate it. Sometimes you have to relate it to what's going on around you, and understand that there's always a way for you to help someone. So I think in order to care about giving back, you have to help someone in a situation that you care about. So, for instance, if it's something like how Yanni is saying about people going hungry, I think empathy goes a long way. If you can remember a time where you didn't have food, then providing that opportunity for someone to eat will be something that you're passionate about. If you have been fortunate enough to never experience that type of thing, then maybe it's something in education. I think it depends on finding something that drives you and working with that. And that usually generates the most value for the organization or for the community that you're working with, because it really shows when you're working with a cause that you're really passionate about and that you have experienced and that you really want to help with. I think if you go into a cause just because it looks good or you think that it's trendy or something like that, then it'll show, and then you will be dissatisfied and the people you're serving will be dissatisfied.
And I think that I'm sorry, the last little part, I think sometimes giving back can it cause this massive snowball effect. Like I know people saw me posting pictures about chop art, and I believe at least one volunteer reached out to Malika about volunteering. And then there are people that are coming up to me like, I want to go with you to India next year. And I'm like, wait, hold on. That might take some planning and some restructuring. But if you do the work, people will see you doing the work and want to get involved. Sometimes we're not doing all that we can do to be visible about the work we're doing because we want to be humble about it. But sometimes it takes posting that picture and letting people know what you're doing so that they want to get involved and get invested.
Right. And
Absolutely. I mean, you know,
I,
what I do
I want to throw
is
two
marketing.
words in
So,
since I got lost last time.
yes,
I was
go
gonna
ahead, Joe.
Yay! No, I was going to say the bottom line is that we're all interconnected. And regardless of what society tries to push to the forefront, that we're an individualistic society, that it's about me making it to the top, the if you look at research shows that collective societies are the ones that truly progress and really build up great leaders, strong leaders in communities. Like it comes from the African proverbs, it takes a village to raise a child. That means a lot when it comes down to the way that we're all wired in a sense. So that's why people receive so much joy when they do something for someone where there's nothing in return. It's just having that connectivity with someone. A lot of times when we're isolated and we're doing things for things that are beyond internal purposes, we begin to become sad. If we're doing something for money, we'll get sad. If we're doing something for titles, once we hit that high peak, that doesn't amount to who we are. But when we connect to someone on the smallest level, whether it's just saying good morning to someone on the corner every day when you go to work and bringing them joy and seeing that smile in their face, that does something to you on the spirit. So it does show that no matter what is pushed before us to say that it's the physical things that make us happy, it's honestly our connections to others. So when you're able to do for other people, it brings about a personal joy in your own life. And that's something that's spread regardless of religion, belief, whatever it may be. Universally, when you do something and you're connected to someone, it brings about a certain level of joy. And like Yanni was saying, it is a snowball effect that as you do good unto others, others decide to do good unto others. Just like negative energy spreads, positive energy, when spreads, has a great impact as well.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And there was a couple of things there. And I'm trying to put it all together here. But one thing that stood out was the fact that you were talking about having to be humble and maybe originally shying away. And as I was saying, as somebody who now pretty much works in a marketing space, that's one thing that I think a lot of nonprofits are doing, and I think that kind of needs to stop. I don't think people understand the importance of marketing and that marketing is humble, because the thing is, marketing in the most simplistic form is basically telling your story over and over again. And I feel as though when you don't tell your story, you're not sharing your story, that's actually being selfish rather than humble. Because there are people out there who need to know what you're doing. They need to know that you have awakened to your full potential and that they have permission to do it too. Kind of like that Marianne Wilson quote. So, um, I can go on that one. But I just wanted to kind of put that out there for anybody who's watching this, because I know that some people might tune in and they might be thinking about starting a nonprofit or becoming a social entrepreneurship, and they might not want to say anything because they might feel like, oh, I don't have this big organization like the Girl Scouts or Boys and Girls Club or anything like that, and I don't want to go tell people what I'm doing and everything because I don't want to seem like I'm cocky or anything. And I'm like, no, you tell people, show people, so they will get involved. And speaking of getting involved, let me go to the next one so I won't keep us too much longer. So, what is one actionable piece of advice that you can give someone who wants to start a nonprofit or take up a cause, to really get involved, to give back, to make impact?
I'd say do
Jewel,
your
could you
research.
handle that question? Yeah.
Sure. I'd just say do your research. A lot of times, people, when it comes to starting your own nonprofit, people don't take into consideration that sometimes there may be other nonprofits that exist into like what you have a passion to do. So what happens is that we'll start and we'll create a nonprofit, and then there's another nonprofit doing the same thing, when if you take the time to really do your research, you can find a nonprofit to collaborate with, that you can bring your talents to and grow. And just because it doesn't have your name plastered all over it doesn't mean you're not making impact. However, you have to keep in mind the reason why you're doing this, the purpose why you're doing it, for why you're doing the work you want to do, and who you're serving. So if at the end of the day you see that no one's doing what you want to do, then that's when I say go ahead and start, and then find out the best way that you can serve people, because a lot of times we may have multiple programs, multiple ideas, but sometimes it just takes that one, starting it off, paying attention to how it can truly service and benefit the people, and then that's how you grow. So I'd say in general, to put it all together, do your research, because we have a lot of nonprofits out there that sometimes, yes, led by the heart, but they can be very ineffective, and then that misses its purpose of helping people. But if you have a passion, you say, I want to help this, I want to do this, see if it exists. If it doesn't, go ahead and start it up, but make sure you know why you're doing it and you don't suffer or end up suffering from mission drift, but you stay focused and you stay on the course of what you want to do. And you can go forward and do a lot of great things. But if you happen to find something that exists, make sure you collaborate, because we don't need 3 million nonprofits doing the same thing and helping nobody at the end of the day, and we're all trying to go for the same grants. But if you can collaborate and really use your talent somewhere else, that would be great as well.
And I think also to add to that, so doing your research, definitely doing your research about what your nonprofit needs, how it can be the most effective, and then also kind of doing a self-assessment of your weaknesses and your strengths, and generating a team that will add to your weaknesses and amplify your strengths. And so I think that is the most important. I was just telling someone this morning I could not run this program without Jewel, like, period. Because she definitely helps me with my strengths and helps me with my weaknesses and amplifies my strengths. And so I think that it's just really important to get a team around you that believes in your mission and believes in you, and will help you when you need to be helped, and will check you when you need to be checked. I think a big thing about nonprofit, like Joel was saying, you can lead it from the heart, and sometimes that can get you lost, because at the end of the day, it's a business. And so in order for it to be successful, you have to treat it as such. And if you lead it from the heart too much, then you may land yourself in a dishonorable situation. And so just have a great team of people around you who love your mission, who love you, and who want to see you successful.
Awesome. Awesome.
And I think I would just say, do the work. There's someone out there that's hungry. There's someone out there that needs a mentor. There's someone out there that needs some shoes or a jacket. Do what you can, and we'll all make the world a better place.
Perfect. I think that was the perfect way to end that. We can all make the world a better place. Ladies, I just want to thank you so much for your time. You know what? Sitting here before the call even started, I was already admiring you from afar. But now that we've had this discussion, I'm like, we are connecting on Google or Twitter or Facebook or something, because I'm not letting you go. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm definitely inspired. I used this Showcase app on Google Plus. I'm not sure if it was showing ChopArt as we were talking. I'm hoping it did. That would be awesome if it worked like it's supposed to. But either way, I will have all the contact information for ChopArt over on my blog, asummermoon.com, where you'll be able to connect with Malika and her team. Over at ChopArt, you will find information so that you can possibly consider wanting to volunteer, and most importantly, come out of your pockets and give some money so that we can really make an impact. You guys don't have to say it. I'm going to say it. We need money so that we can do what we need to do. You know, I'm not going to shy away from it. So, let's put our money where our talking is. That's how we walk, especially when we're so far away. So we can walk with our
Right.
money. So, ladies, again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing about your amazing organization. I've been following you, Malika, for a while, and I'm very, very honored to have you here as my guest for this series.
Thank you.
Ladies, again, I thank you so much, and I wish you all many blessings.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
having us.
you.